Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And welcome to today's webinar, Better Together, How AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach are creating a closed-loop phishing defense. My name is Amanda Wong, and I'm part of the product marketing team here at Abnormal AI, and I'll be your host for today's session. I'm also excited to be joined by our guest speaker, Mason Wheeler, for a fireside chat. Mason is the manager of Cybersecurity Operations at Renown Health, Northern Nevada's largest nonprofit health network. He leads a security team responsible for protecting one of the region's largest healthcare workforces and communities, with his responsibilities spanning across identity and access management, cloud security, with a strong focus on building security awareness programs that empower employees to become an active first line of defense against cyber threats. During our conversation today, Mason will share his organization's journey from what phishing reporting and security awareness looked like before implementing AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach, to how they've approached deployment and the impact of Abnormal solutions have had on their security program. So before we get started, I do have a few quick housekeeping items. First is that today's webinar is being recorded, and we'll send the recording to everyone who registered so you guys can revisit the content or share it with your colleagues afterwards. Second is that during the product demonstrations, we'll be using a demo environment, and because of that, some features, settings, or functionalities may look slightly different than what you see in your own Abnormal tenant. And so here's a quick look at today's agenda. We'll start with product introductions before moving into our fireside chat with Mason. And then from there, I'll walk through a demonstration of AI Security Mailbox, followed by a demo of AI Phishing Coach. And then we'll bring everything together by showing how these two products work together to create a closed-loop phishing defense workflow. And then finally, we'll wrap up with some helpful resources and leave you guys with some next steps. And so with that, let's get started. So let's start with AI Security Mailbox. Is that one of the biggest challenges security teams face today is the sheer volume of user-reported emails and security questions coming into the SOC. Every reported email requires investigation, and those repetitive tasks can quickly consume valuable analyst time while creating delays for employees waiting on a response. AI Security Mailbox was built to solve this exact problem. So think of AI Security Mailbox as your AI coworker for your email SOC team. So by using behavioral AI Security Mailbox autonomously triages user-reported emails, determines whether they're malicious or safe, and responds directly to employees with personalized conversational and Gen AI responses. For example, you can see this on the right. And this means that users get fast answers while analysts can stay focused on higher priority investigations. And then beyond the initial report, AI Security Mailbox also looks across your environment to identify and automatically remediate other malicious emails from the same campaign that may have gone unreported. It centralizes all your reporting activity into a unified threat log, giving security teams complete visibility into user-reported threats and trends. The result is significant operational efficiency. Customers have seen up to 95% reduction in investigation and response times, thereby freeing up analyst resources while delivering a better employee experience through immediate AI-powered feedback. As one of our own customers has said, Marmon Holdings put it, AI Security Mailbox automates the user-reported email workflow 100%, allowing the team to focus elsewhere while also educating employees by explaining exactly what made an email malicious. And now that we've seen how AI Security Mailbox helps security teams respond to user-reported threats, let's take a look about how AI Phishing Coach helps prevent those threats from succeeding in the first place. So traditional phishing training is often generic, time-consuming to create, and doesn't always drive lasting behavior change. AI Phishing Coach changes that by using agentic AI to automatically turn real phishing attacks that Abnormal has stopped into personalized phishing simulations. Employees train on the threats that they're actually most likely to encounter, which makes every simulation more relevant and impactful. AI Phishing Coach also delivers just-in-time coaching, generates organization-specific micro-learning content, and continuously measures phishing risk over time so that security teams can track real improvements in employee behavior and not just course completion. The result is more effective security awareness training, measurable reduction in human risk, and far less manual work for security teams. And so now let's hear how AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach have transformed an organization's phishing defenses from a customer themselves. And I'm so excited to welcome Mason Wheeler, the manager of Cybersecurity Operations at Renown Health, to talk about his Better Together story. Hi, Mason.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? So I'd
Awesome.
love to start off. Before implementing AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach, what were your biggest pain points in your phishing response and awareness programs?
Yeah. For my team and I, for a while, it started out with just very few people on my team. It was me and our chief information security officer. So it was a lot of my time actually creating the individual phishing simulations and sending them out to employees on a set schedule. Also, uh, because emails were predictable or similar across everybody, the people would start sharing that a phishing simulation has been sent out. So people would talk to one each other and let them know that a phishing simulation's gone out, so that way they could report it. So I didn't truly feel that we were getting absolutely accurate information about phishing simulations happening in our environment.
Yeah, no, definitely. What goals were you hoping to achieve when you first started this journey on kind of reinventing your security awareness programs?
Yeah, for us, the biggest thing was being able to have individual phishing simulation emails sent out to every single person and having it always be different. And also use things that were coming into our organization as real phishing emails and repurposing those as safe phishing simulations to really help people understand what's happening out in our industry for phishing emails and giving people real life experiences in a safe way.
Yeah, no, definitely. Real life experiences are always the best because it does mimic the actual environment or malicious emails that your employees will encounter. Do you think you could walk us through how you introduced AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach to your organization?
Yeah, for a lot of employees, it was very seamless. We didn't say that we were launching this product other than to our executives, letting them know, and leaders, letting them know that new phishing simulation tool was going to be pushed out, and people would start seeing different types of emails in for the simulations. So we turned off our previous platform and uh, started turning on the abnormal AI phishing coach. And the start of the month, we just started sending out phishing simulations through that tool. So it kind of was a surprise to a lot of people, but that was kind of the expectation is you never know when an attacker is going to show up with a phishing email. So we might as well do the same thing from a security perspective. So, and training.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's not if, but when. Um,
Mhm.
what what did the rollout look like from an operational standpoint, and who would you say needed to be involved?
For rolling out this tool, there was very few people. There was some, we needed to work with our email admin just to make sure that we had all the right settings set up for allowing the phishing simulations to come into inboxes without getting uh, removed from people's inboxes, and also to make sure that the links weren't getting clicked. But other than that, it was one, maybe two people, and then sending out some communications with leadership. So very minimal effort for our team and the people we worked with.
Awesome. Here at Abnormal, we really prioritize automation and usability and integration. So I'm so glad to hear that. So one of the themes of today's session is closing the loop between reported emails and employee education. How would you say that this works in practice at your organization today now?
We've seen a huge increase in the number of people um, performing the training when we send out the just-in-time training with the AI phishing coach, which
Mhm.
is helping bring down the click rates and increase the report rate for when people are receiving phishing simulations or real phishing emails. So a lot faster time to remediation is kind of what I think of when somebody gets a phishing simulation. And being able to also notify people's leaders that they clicked on a phishing simulation helps their leader be aware of things that are happening in their department when it comes to cybersecurity and uh, personal ownership in each department and area. So
Yeah, no, definitely. How would you say the automated triage from AI Security Mailbox has changed the way your team handles reported phishing emails? What other duties are they now able to perform with the time savings?
for us, it was the biggest thing was reason. I'll go back to the reason why we started with abnormal. We had somebody that had compromised an account and was sending out internal phishing emails, causing other people to be compromised. So we had removed the ability for somebody to be in our environment, but we're still having people click on that phishing email, um, and causing potential other compromises. So abnormal, we brought abnormal in because the previous tools that we had weren't detecting that link properly. And once we brought abnormal in, it found all of those links across the entire organization and removed them that basically the same day after it went through the training and discovery of our environment. So for us, it went from having to be very hands on keyboard and manually removing emails from people's inboxes, to allowing the team to focus on a lot of other things. So for us, uh, abnormal has almost become set it and forget it. We do jump in there once a week to make sure that nothing's out of the ordinary. But it's really taken a lot of that time for us and our SOC, um, to focus on the more important things that are happening in our organization. If there's a tool that can automatically find something as simple as, hey, I need you to send me some times that you're available, and here's my phone number, text me, and remove those emails out of people's inboxes, that's a huge amount of time savings. Because from email perspective, there's no links in there, there's no images that are malicious, it's just context. So something that most other tools are not designed to detect.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that example. Going back to AI Phishing Coach, do you have an example of how a simulation turned into a meaningful learning opportunity for your workforce?
Yeah. We have providers every once in a while that, in the moment, they get a little frustrated with when we send phishing emails and the content in them. But it turns into a great uh, coaching and education experience when we can explain, this is information that we found off of other people's LinkedIn or other open source information to tie you to that person, and the actual email that we received as an organization that was mimicking this type of attack. So then we can show them the why and when, as to when somebody would have received a legitimate phishing email that could have caused the compromise in the organization. So for some of those providers, even though they received an email at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning from a department chair for um, surgical services, we were able to explain all of those pieces for them to fully understand and appreciate why we're doing these types of trainings to help people understand what's happening out there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Have you seen any more changes on like a broader or a more micro scale on reporting behavior, overall security culture for your organization since implementing AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach together?
Yes, people love the report phishing button and being able to have both the simulations come from abnormal and then the security mailbox. Depending on which type of email it is, it'll either send people congratulations, and if it's a phishing simulation, and people love the little animation that gets created by Outlook with the little confetti. So for them, that's a nice little reward for them. And then if it is an email that is not a phishing simulation from the AI security mailbox, it gives
Mhm.
them the context as to whether it was a safe email and returns the email back to them, or if it was potentially malicious, it gives all the reasons as to why. Um, and really allows them to ask questions and dig deeper into the reasons behind it, which is really nice because we do use the AI responses from Abnormal as well.
Yeah, how is setting up the AI Gen AI responses and customizing your analyst? How was that experience for you?
It was pretty straightforward. We turned it on just for a couple of people on our team because you can do a specific people that it responds
Mm,
to,
setting.
and tested that for a couple months just to see what it responded with. We tried to throw all sorts of weird things at it. Let's see if it would give us uh, information that I wouldn't expect it to have, and see what kind of responses we get from it and how well it responded to an executive per se. Kind of provide a white glove service for executives or VIPs, and um, otherwise normal experience for the rest of our organization. The reason being is executives, I don't want to give them a lengthy technical explanation, whereas some other people might be really interested in that. So,
Mhm. No, definitely. I love GenAI responses. It really allows you to customize per user, and yeah, the end user responses for that.
mhm.
Um, Based on this, have you observed any measurable changes in phishing susceptibility, reporting rates, or response time since implementing these two products together?
We definitely have. A lot more people are very quick to report an email they're not sure on, which I absolutely love. So I actually have a team that when they get phishing simulations and they can tell that it's probably a phishing simulation, but not quite sure, and they get the congrats from us, they always yell, "Not today, Mason." Um, so I know from that experience that the there is a lot of people that are enjoying being able to get immediate responses from our tools. So the report rates have gone up quite a bit with our phishing simulations, which is awesome. Just since we've implemented the AI Phishing Coach.
That's great. So, based on all of this, what advice would you give to organizations that are still treating phishing triage and awareness training, security awareness training, as two separate programs? Would you recommend they keep it separate, or would you recommend they kind of put together a better together story to really close the loop?
For for what I see, it's better to have both of these things meshed together because really allows you to take real life phishing emails that organizations are receiving, including yourself, and put those into phishing simulations that you can send back out to your employees in a safe manner. Because for uh, instead of recreating the wheel and spending a bunch of time to create really good phishing simulations, use the stuff that's already being sent to you because somebody did the work for you. The I've used Abnormal to help save us a lot of time, and that's one of the other ways where we try to maximize our utilization of the tool and give our team time back to go focus on uh, deploying new features or technology to help our organization be more secure or triaging other issues in the organization.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Mason. And then for my last question, if there is one takeaway you'd want security leaders to leave with today about abnormal AI, what would that be?
That is a great question. For security leaders, I would really say take advantage as much as you can of Abnormal and the tools that it gives you, allowing your team to focus on other things other than phishing emails that come into your organization, um, and spend more time on meaningful things to help, say, in our case, be able to support radiologists that are doing critical patient care, being able to improve their processes, and allowing Abnormal to take care of uh, the people aspect of emails and making sure that phishing simulations don't end up or phishing emails don't end up in people's inboxes, helping reduce the risk of the somebody clicking on something that could take out down the organization.
Yeah, no, totally. Thank you so much, Mason, for all your insights and experience. We love hearing from customers like yourselves about your experience with AI Phishing Coach and AI Security Mailbox and how they come together. So we really appreciate all your input, and we're so excited to
Absolutely.
are grateful to have you as a customer. Thank you.
Happy to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mason, for the fireside chat. And now to dive deep into AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach, I'd love to introduce our technical product marketing manager, Dan. Take it away.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Amanda. So to start with, as Amanda discussed earlier, realistically speaking, there's multiple methods for customers or for users to really submit what they believe to be malicious emails into the ultimately the AI security mailbox. And so one example is through the Fish Report button that is available as a Microsoft add-on as well as through Google Workspace. And so the user can simply submit the email right there through the button, and AI Security Mailbox will automatically give them feedback as far as what the ultimate verdict is of that submission and the details that are associated with that. So if we pivot over to the AI Security Mailbox, what we see here is a listing of the submissions that have been done by this respective organization. And again, AI Security Mailbox is really giving an autonomous triaging of these messages as they're being submitted. It's going to identify and group all of the various messages that are associated with the campaign or the attack that's occurring and remediate those in your user's environments. So for example, here, if we take a look at this one, we can see that this email itself, Jonathan Green actually submitted to the AI Phishing Mailbox. And we can see the fact that this was, in fact, identified as being malicious. And then we actually grouped multiple messages, in this case 3, together, and identified and remediated those and pulled those out of those users' inboxes. So allowing for the system to kind of automatically triage those details. We also see the fact that AI Security Mailbox did, in fact, give a response, in this case to Jonathan, letting him know that this was deemed as malicious and some of the feedback as far as why, in this case, the reputation of the sender, the content of the message, and things of that nature. Now, as discussed, the big piece here is we're taking this information along with the details and types of attacks that are hitting your organization and using those for the purpose of training as far as the risk that's associated in the threats of the attacks that your organization may be seeing. So if you go into AI Phishing Coach, the first piece, I'll go into the operational logs here. We can actually see the respective simulations that have been sent to the users. In this case, we can see the type of simulation, phishing, credential phishing, or things like business and email compromise. And for each one of these, we can dive into the respective details. And so we can see, first and foremost, what are the details of the information as far as why we're selecting this type of simulation. In this case, David Kim is a part of accounts payable, so he'll be seeing these types of messages. So it's associated with his respective role. And really was the overall strategy for the purpose of sending this type of message. Down on the actual timeline, we can see the full analysis. So why, again, are we sending this attack? We've actually seen this type of attack hit this organization. What is the overall impact of the types of attacks that are hitting organizations when they receive these and some of the details that are associated with that? And then we can see the details of the simulation. So in this case, the simulation was sent to David. We can see it looks like a request for an account payable or a wire transfer of close to $500,000. We can see the fact that it looks like it's coming from the CEO of the organization, when in fact it is an external email, and some of the other details that are associated with that. We then can see the response. Unfortunately, in this case, David did in fact respond to the simulation, which immediately triggers the just-in-time training, which gives them details as far as why this was a simulation, or in this case, luckily it was just a simulation, and the details as to why they really could have identified this as being malicious. In this case, the kind of key signals being that it was a fraudulent domain, it bypassed the typical workflows and things of that nature. It also gives some things to look for in the future or advice for how to handle these situations going forward. And then ultimately a quiz really reinforcing that training. And we can also see the respective responses that David gave in this case for that training, and ultimately the ability to acknowledge that training respectively. Now, all of these details are then calculated or identified and leveraged to identify across the organization how training is going. And so here on the AI Phishing Coach main dashboard, we can see the simulation failure funnels. So how many simulations were sent, were they opened or responded to, and was training responded or sent as a response. We can also see a breakdown as far as the report rate, how many people have, or the percentage of people calculating or going through training. We can also see the failure types and report rates over time. We're also seeing that information not only for your respective organization, but also globally. How does that compare to all of Abnormal's customers and the details that are associated with that? And then also kind of a breakdown as far as how training is going across the various groups inside your organization. On the risk management tab, we can see a larger breakdown. So calculating an overall risk score, so you can understand where there is risk in your organization and really where you need to focus your training efforts. So you can see your overall customer or company phish risk score. Again, how does that compare globally to all of Abnormal's customers? A distribution of that score across my user base, all the way down to the department level or even the team level and the manager level, and then all the way down to even an individual level. Now, for each one of these, I do have the ability to go into the respective details and see what is their trending over time. Are they getting better or worse with time? And more importantly, what are the exact metrics that are really going into that overall score calculation? So in this case, you can see, are they clicking the email simulations, or are they opening credential pages or providing credentials as a result of that? Are they reporting these as malicious or as simulations? And are they going through training and things of that nature? really giving you the ability to see what are the positives and negatives that are ultimately coming together to reach that overall risk score that's calculated for the user. And then again, we can see the overall history over time of simulations that were being sent. Now, the other aspects of AI Phishing Coach is our ability to automatically generate branded and iconography enabled videos that can be sent for training purposes. So in this case, we can see these tailored videos that are being sent out, as well as a general security focused video series, as well as compliance focused things like SOC 2 or PCI, and ultimately the ability to leverage this for sending training information into the environment. And again, I do have that ability to configure these on a training schedule. So over time, how I want them sent, the frequency of them sent, who they should be sent to, all that is able to be configured and sent across the organization. So ultimately, the idea is we're enabling or leveraging the capabilities from AI Security Mailbox for the purpose of triaging automatically submissions from your user base, reducing greatly the overall time and effort that's needed from a security analysis team standpoint for the purpose of identifying and recognizing when something is malicious or not. And we can see ultimately in those simulations the exact breakdown as far as how we're judging those and the information that's associated with that. And then we're taking those details and using that for the purpose of creating tailored, targeted training that will allow your organization to really train your users on the real world attacks and the real attacks that are hitting your organization, all the way down to the user level and the role level, for the purpose of being very targeted and very specific and helping really reinforce the necessary learnings and information that's needed to help keep your organization safe. So at a super high level, that's AI Security Manager and AI Phishing Coach. Amanda, I'll pass it back to you.
So to quickly summarize the Better Together story, security teams still rely on employees to report suspicious emails, but that does create two big challenges. First, as you can see in the graph, analysts spend countless hours reviewing reported emails, separating real threats from false alarms, and it's repetitive work that pulls them away from more strategic investigations. Second is that awareness training often happens separately from real-world threats, making it harder to change employee behavior when it matters most. And the result is a noisy abuse mailbox, overburdened analysts, and employees who don't always receive timely, relevant feedback. And this is what exactly Abnormal's Better Together approach with AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach is designed to solve. By designing AI Security Mailbox or combining AI Security Mailbox with AI Phishing Coach, we create an automated closed-loop workflow that takes organizations from user report to remediation to personalized coaching, all with minimal manual effort. In the workflow chart here, we can see how it works. It starts with employees reporting suspicious emails, just as they do today using the abnormal phish report button. AI Security Mailbox then immediately analyzes each report, bringing together all of the context needed to determine whether it's a real threat. And then next, we use behavioral AI to automatically triage every reported email by identifying malicious messages, finding similar emails across the organization in a malicious campaign, and automatically remediating confirmed threats. Analysts get the complete attack context without spending time on manual investigation or repetitive workflows. If the reported email is actually an AI Phishing Coach simulation, the employee immediately receives positive reinforcement for making the right decision, while the organization captures valuable training insights on our executive dashboard. And then once a real attack has been confirmed and remediated, AI Phishing Coach takes the same attack and safely transforms it into a personalized phishing simulation for that employee. So instead of generic awareness training, employees are able to learn from the latest real-world threats targeting their organization and role, making the training more relevant, more effective, and more personalized. And then finally, we close the loop, because for every reported email, employees are able to receive a clear explanation of what happened and what actions were taken. If they have additional follow-up questions, they can ask questions in plain language and receive AI-generated responses that align with your organization's security policies. And this immediate feedback reinforces the learning in the moment while building employee confidence and trust in the security team as well. And the result is measurable for both security teams and employees. And organizations can automate the vast majority of user-reported email triage and responses, reducing review time by up to 95% and saving thousands of analyst hours per year. And at the same time, employees also receive fast answers, personalized coaching, and training based on real attacks that they're most likely to encounter. And the outcome is a more efficient security team, a stronger security culture, and employees who become an active part of the organization's defense. And now for our resources and upcoming abnormal webinars. To learn more, we have an AI Security Mailbox and AI Phishing Coach data sheet that dives more into the Better Together story, as well as a landing page on the right here. On July 22nd, we have a Detection 360 customer success webinar that goes over our recent Detection 360 enhancements for visibility and control. And don't miss out on our abnormal deployment walkthrough webinar, which is on August 5th at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for joining this custom webinar, and please reach out to your customer success manager if you'd like a demo.